So, we want to talk to you about the negative polarity of the eclipse, which many of you are concerned about, and talking about CERN and these other things. There is truth. Okay, we cannot be naive. We cannot be um, unaware of the shadow because it is a part of the total picture within creation and existence that there is light and dark. Specifically in this realm, it has a benefit. Okay, um, there is truth in negative forces who wish to harness certain solar and lunar frequencies in a negative way, but that's their job. That's their role within creation. It's not a surprise. Some of you get this information and you still act surprised. Of course, it's going on. We really want to be honest with you about this. Of course, it's going on. However, it's all about how you relate to the energy. Now, what these folks do is that a lot of the information that you all think you are receiving as exposure is actually implanted sort of engineering, meaning let's blow something out of proportion and really amplify it, because then we get them to believe that we have more power than we actually do. Dark or negative does not mean more power. Major key code here. Doesn't mean more power. But if they can amplify the fear in your consciousness, then guess what? They can harness and harvest your energy to fuel the agenda that they have. And because the eclipse is sort of a celestial gateway, where the threshold between dimensions is thinner, then the more they can amplify that fear and get you to focus in that way, they can speed up the time that it would take them to actualize a certain outcome. This is the dark arts. This is the dark magic. This is the dark quantum manipulation. That's it. So whenever you're engaged, and this is why we spoke to you a few weeks ago about neutral observation. There's always dark and there's always light. You should know that by now. Don't get riled up about it. It's happening, whether it's revealed to you or not. There's always going to be some schemes, some plans, some agendas, because that's the consciousness that they are in. It's already happening. It's always happening behind the scenes. You neutralize that frequency, especially for coming into your personal field. Many of you have been experiencing some psychic attacks recently because the veil is thin. Okay, lots of energies from the astral being able to get to you. You neutralize the energy by remaining in a positive polarity for yourself. You don't factor in what they got going on, what they're doing, what they plan to do. You say, I am a sovereign creator being. I choose to relate to this energy, this opportunity, this celestial gateway in this way. And thus, you will vibrate out of the frequency range to be in a co-created timeline with these beings. It's all a co-creation, right? It can't happen if the human collective doesn't consent. At this time, in the evolutionary stage of humans, there's an unconscious consent happening, usually. But just because it's unconscious, it doesn't mean that you aren't making the agreement. So this is your invitation to come into higher consciousness and awareness. Darkness exists. I'm no longer afraid of it. I'm not amplifying things that these beings are doing. I'm focusing on the timeline that I prefer to experience. The more of you that begin doing that at an individual basis, it becomes a collective co-created reality and dream state where these entities cannot exist. That's how it works. If they exist in this realm, this collective dream realm that you're experiencing, it's because there are still a dominant or majority amount of people who are allowing that into their vision, allowing that to exist within their dream. Now, from the higher oversoul perspective, of course, it's all okay because all of the contrast just creates expansion. I mean, you know, everyone's experiencing this to a differing degree, but this is the functionality of the Earth Dream School. It is to have the polarity, it is to have the contrast, it is to have the force that is working against you, but it's so that you can sharpen your own mastery. Even in the higher galactic realm and dimensions, we have contrast. May not be as dramatic as what you experience on Earth, but we have contrast. The example that they're giving me is think of Star Wars. We've given you many codes and clues within Star Wars and Star Trek. There's always a concept and a theme of light and dark forces. Always, always.